Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia. Thank you for being here. I'm going to do a general layout for us today with the theme about fear. I woke up and off and on over the last several days, I've been experiencing a lot of paranoia, a lot of fear, a lot of confusion, and I know that I must not be alone because it's been kind of ongoing, and I keep kind of being nudged or pushed to talk about it. It's not a comfortable subject. Oh shoot! I want to get my mic. Well, no, I'll just leave it. Whatever. You're just gonna have to turn the volume up. I'm not gonna interrupt my flow at this point to put my mic on. I forgot about the mic. The audio is usually a lot better when I have a mic, but you know, I'm just gonna have to go with this because maybe the mic would fail and then my whole reading would fail or something. So this isn't a comfortable subject for me, the subject of paranoia, because I just gotta do some self-disclosure here and bear with me for this reading, because it's important. It weaves into the reading I'm gonna do, and for those of you who catch this, I hope it's helpful. And I'm taking my lead from card readers on YouTube that have gone before me and had the courage to talk about these things as well. So I'm in step with what's going on as well in the YouTube collective of card readers. I feel like I'm winded all of a sudden. And I think it's that fear, it's that tension that comes in your chest with that kind of high alert fear that can come with paranoia. So to start us off, I just need to share that when I was, there's a little hummingbird outside my window, which isn't shocking. I have a feeder, but still, I always love to see them. They uplift my mood so much and help me feel better. So, hey, little guy. When I was in my late teens and early 20s, which is not uncharacteristic for people who may go through something like this, that's often the age of onset, I had a psychotic episode, and it was very in keeping, like had it continued in my life, ongoing. Mine was short-lived. I mean, it didn't feel short-lived at the time. It was very hellish. I never would wish that on my worst nightmare, going through a psychotic break. But I had a psychotic break, and it went on for about 3 months, and it was it was a just complete terror to go through. It was very confusing, and then for whatever reasons, biological, there's science that bears this out. I transitioned out of the psychosis on my own. I didn't end up going to see a psychiatrist. I didn't even really see anyone for help. No one in my circle knew what to do. And in some ways, in retrospect, I'm fortunate that nobody forced me to go to a psychiatrist, because I may have been hospitalized against my will, and I may still be on like really heavy duty antipsychotics to this day, because at the time that it happened, the prevailing belief was if you have a psychotic episode that would meet criteria for schizophrenia, paranoid type, especially if it went on longer than a 3-month window, you should be on antipsychotic medication for the rest of your life. So in many ways, even though nobody intervened and I didn't get help, I'm very grateful that I didn't get help, because my system transitioned out of it on its own. And the way that the science bears out is that there's about a 30% of the people who experience something like this have one episode and then they never have another recurrence, which so far I'm in that category. 30% have intermittent struggles with psychotic symptoms throughout the rest of their life after their first break. And then 30% become chronic and have to, and usually when that happens, they enter the mental health system. They often end up getting warehoused in jails. They're often in and out of hospitals against their will, which creates its own set of trauma and terror, right? When you're bodily taken your autonomy away. But also, you know, I don't want to get into whether that's justifiable or not. But the reason I'm saying this is because for me to then start having feelings of paranoia, whenever I have feelings of paranoia, because since then I've run kind of paranoid, but I've made my peace with that. I've learned to work with it. I've learned to use it as an asset. And I've also learned to know when not to listen to it for the most part. It's just kind of a current that runs through my life of like, what did that mean? Or what, you know, sometimes I have to keep it in check, right? But I basically kick ass at life. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I went to grad school. I'm very creative. I'm very discerning and sharp. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of where I've come because I also grew up in a very traumatized family system. So the reason that I'm sharing that is because lately I've had some very scary experiences, and I'm not going to list them all. But the reason, again, that I'm saying this is because I feel like it's got something to do with you, viewer, who may be going through something similar and are having trouble coping or getting through it or knowing what's true or what's real. And so, kind of simultaneous to some of this paranoia and anxiety cropping up again in my life off and on. And I keep an eye on it, just so you know, nobody out there needs to worry. I already have a plan with my doctor. If something, there's nothing that you need to worry about in terms of guiding me to go to see a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm solid in my understanding of it. But I have an uncle who's been passing away, and that's brought up a lot of some of my past familial traumas in a good way, in a healing way. It's been very healing for me, for my cousin, for some of my other family members who were intimately connected to him from a very young age. He was a part of my blood family's life from the time he was in high school and my aunt was in high school, so very long term. And I just went down the other day after he passed away to collect some items from their home, some of my aunt's artwork, some photographs, things like that, just that need to be keepsakes and kept within the family. It was at risk that they would get thrown out because neither of them had children and they were estranged from us for the most part. So we're lucky we were able to get these things back. I feel very fortunate. One was a photograph of my uncle he's sitting on the wing of his plane. He had a small engine, a single engine. I don't know the right words for planes, but like it's a small plane, the kind that are scary to go in, like a puddle jumper, right? Like if you have any sort of humbleness about life and death, they're pretty scary. But he was a pilot and he was a total daredevil and he was really, really brilliant minded, amazing man, really amazing man. Not without his faults, but had a huge impact in my life. So I had a small stack of pictures. Apparently a lot of the pictures had gotten destroyed because their home had kind of fallen into a state of, they weren't taking care of it because they could barely take care of themselves. And, but this picture of my uncle, I just was delighted to see it because I got to go in that plane with him a few times as a kid with my dad, and they're great memories. My uncle left a wonderful legacy of joy in my life and wonderful memories. So I was so cherishing having that picture. And I brought it home and I was looking at it the day I got it home, and I took a picture of it so that I would have a digital copy as well. And I sent it to a close friend who would appreciate it. I posted it to some social media, and then I put it on my altar, which is behind me. And I woke up the next day and it was gone. And it really scared me because legit, either there's some really powerful magical forces that made that picture disappear, and I don't know what that means, or somebody came in here while I was asleep and took the picture off my altar, somebody that doesn't mean me any good. And you can think I'm crazy or not, but I know my experience, and that's what I'm feeling like I need to say to you. You're not crazy. You know your experience, and you can trust your intuition right now if you're feeling that something's not right, either with some relationships in your life or people around you who seem to maybe want to be around you, but you feel uneasy around them, and you maybe keep telling yourself like, oh, come on, get over it. Like, you don't need to be so paranoid or suspicious of people. But if your body is reacting right now in those kinds of ways of like really instinctually telling you to protect yourself from them, this message is to confirm to you that you should listen to that. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to help you keep your own fears and paranoia sorted out, because I know how hard it can be. I'm not saying don't seek medical attention. I'm a clinical social worker. I would seek my own medical attention. And so I'm not saying don't go get help if you think there might be some psychiatric reasons that you're being kind of paranoid. There's signs of that, like you can't sleep. visual hallucinations, tactile hallucinations. The challenge with these symptoms, though, is that there's differing beliefs worldwide about what those symptoms mean, including having a spontaneous kundalini experience that you weren't prepared for and don't know what it is or how to handle it. Those can create symptoms like this. There's a famous doctor, I always pronounce his name probably inaccurately, but Gabor Mate, who he's a doctor. He's a medical doctor. He's very trained in the Western method. He's a brilliant mind. He describes that often people's first shamanic break is really like a shamanic experience. Or sorry, did you see what I did there? That little Freudian slip. Someone's first psychotic break is often a symptom of a shamanic awakening. And in some communities in the world, when somebody goes through that experience, they're not treated as crazy. They're recognized as some type of healer or practitioner for the community, and then they get put in the hands of the healers of the community for teaching. So take comfort in that. If those are ideas that you've never had any exposure to, because here in the Western method they don't talk about that so much. That's worth pursuing too. Looking up, like, what is a kundalini experience, a spontaneous kundalini awakening? What does Gabor Mate say about psychosis, right? Like, do that kind of investigation for yourself and see if you can't find some comfort in that. Because the paranoia that I've been feeling is based in reality for me. I've realized it's not a psychotic break that I'm going through. It's not, I don't have any other symptoms, right? I'm sleeping fine. I'm clearly cogent. I had a little bit of trouble with some word stuff in recent months, but that's not new. I have dyslexia. I've always had that symptom. It's been a little predominant lately, and I think it's in part to get me to really assess inward and see, like, do you need to go see someone or what? So I just wanted to start with that because I'm very aware that my picture is gone. I know where I put it. I know where it sat. I was delighted to observe it sitting there. And I was saying at my prayers for my uncle's memory, I know where I left that picture and it's gone. So make of that what you will, but I'm not going to hide from that truth. I'm not going to hide under a rock in shame that I have a history of paranoia that somebody around me might be exploiting for their own gain. I'm not ashamed of it. Many people, professional, spiritual, otherwise, have conditions like bipolar disorder, have conditions like a psychotic disorder. Another really amazing, inspiring figure to me is Dr. Patricia Deegan. She's a psychologist, but she developed her own methodology around psychosis because she had a psychotic experience and wound up for many years on really heavy-duty antipsychotic drugs that pretty much destroyed her life. And I'm not saying antipsychotics destroy people's lives. They help many people lead happy, normal lives. So everybody's different. Everybody's body is different. Everyone's experience is different. This is not meant to guide you in one direction or another. It's to help you tune into your own discernment about what you are experiencing. And if you're not sure, get the help of people that you trust, not people that you're feeling uneasy about. Get the help of people you feel trusting of to talk it through with. That's kind of what I've been doing, very selectively, going to someone and saying, here's what's happening and it's freaking me out and I can't there have been a lot of other experiences. That's just the one that I think is the most revelatory and the one that I wanted to share. And I'm not going to cower in fear because I think someone came in here when I was asleep and took my picture. I'm not going to cower in fear that maybe some weird dark magic force made that picture disappear or whatever, right? Like, who fucking knows? All I know is I know where that picture was and I know that it's gone. It was within less than 24 hours that it disappeared. I'm very glad that I took snaps of it before it disappeared because I cherish that picture and that image, and it's full of great memories for me. And it's a disrespect to my uncle's memory for someone to have stolen that picture for their own gain. So I'll just leave that there. And I do what I need to protect myself bodily in my home as well. So there's that. I don't need to go blasting what I do, but I am protected and I'm not afraid and I'm not going to live in fear. So there's that as well. So I guess that's about all I really need to say on that. Here's just some little tools here. My little sigil right there. My little cross. that I got that I love and cherish. That's my little symbol too of protection. This Moroccan agate is a nice representation of some guidance that I've received spiritually over time in my life, over many years and years, from the time I first got to go to Spain. And then this little bundle here. So that's just my little intro. Thank you for listening to that. I appreciate you having the patience to hear me out on a topic like that. And please, if you feel guided to or feel trusting enough to, you can share about it in the comments. This is a safe place. Another thing that I believe really strongly in and that is slowly gaining momentum in the United States is a group for voice hearers, because that was part of my psychotic experience as well. I heard voices. There's a network of people, a decentralized network. It's not a hierarchical power group, but it's called the Hearing Voices Network. And it's for people who hear voices, because voice hearing happens in all different contexts, not just in a psychotic episode. Sometimes you'll hear people have a near-death experience who say, right before I, had that close call, I heard my aunt's voice tell me, watch out. So there's a lot of reasons that people might hear voices. Psychosis is just one. Joan of Arc's a great example. The Catholic Church doesn't think she was nuts, right? She's a saint. So those are things to think about as well. So without further ado, this layout now is going to be for you and your protection. What do you need to know right now for your safety and for your protection? What's important for you to know for your own safety right now? And what can comfort you? What can you take comfort in? How are you protected? I want to know that too. I don't want this reading to be about someone's in danger. I want it to be helpful guidance. I mean, getting validation is helpful, but I would like this reading to also be some guidance for you about steps you can take to feel safer and to be safer. What will be helpful for you to know if you're dealing with any kind of fear or paranoia or feeling psychically or spiritually attacked? These can be things like feeling spied on, feeling watched. There's, even the US government has done extensive study into things like remote viewing and psychic phenomenon. Stephen King wrote an amazing book about it that, to me, in my life, bears out more and more accurately all the time. I'm blanking on the name right now. Hearts in Atlantis. It's a really great book and a really wonderful movie too, I think. And it talks all about that kind of shady sort of shadow government, right? And remote viewing and telepathy and all that stuff has been extensively studied by the government. It's not just crazy women who are hormonal and think they're, there's a whole layer to this of sexism as well that I'll get into, because black women and black men in particular in the United States are way disproportionately diagnosed with schizophrenia. So there's a lot of even like social justice around these kinds of themes that it's taken me years to feel confident enough to talk openly about it. I made the mistake once in my career in a community mental health clinic of disclosing that I had had a psychotic episode to some of the leadership, naively thinking they would think, oh, that's going to make her even better at her job. No, they became less trusting of me for a while, which is one of the sad realities of dealing with someone who's in an altered state and deciding that person must be nuts. Altered states have all different kinds of causes and reasons, right? I'm sorry, I feel myself getting angry, and that's not what I meant to be doing, but it's just when you feel like you're being messed with and something in you deep down knows it's true, it's really frustrating and scary. I'm not gonna lie, I've had moments of fear, several in the last few days, but I know I'm protected. I trust my God. I trust my community of people that I know I can trust, and I know I have people that have my back and that are going to show up for me if I need it at a moment's notice. So I'll just state that and leave it there. What should you know about your protection and about your safety right now? If you're feeling attacked, This is for anyone out there who's feeling psychically or spiritually attacked, or even bodily attacked, like in an abusive relationship, right? Or it could be all of the above. So got the Tower and the Eight of Cups here, which is a walking away after a shock. Yeah. Yep. Yep. It just made me think of those characters on Sesame Street. Yep. They have those, yep. I can't think of what they're called, but I love Sesame Street. It's so unifying. The Muppets, Sesame Street, they're such unifying. Rest in peace, Jim Henson. Man. Talk about a shaman. So, okay, here we go. The cornerstone card is the Page of Wands. So there's good news coming for you. If it's arrived, great. If not, it's coming. Either that or you're in a really young energy of creativity and have a lot of creative ideas, a lot of creative fire behind you, a lot of joy. The Page of Wands is a really joyful, innocent, beautiful energy. And it can also mean literally messages, like you might be getting some good news or some good messages for yourself. So this is a very encouraging card to have at this cornerstone energy. What you sense and what you know is that there's love in your life and that you are tapping into your intuition of your heart center with this Queen of Cups energy. You know there's love present for you. You know you have loved ones that you go way back with, whether this is a past love or a past lover, or also your childhood friends, your people that you've known for years, and you know that it's okay to trust your heart right now and be in your heart center. You're not afraid to do that, but you may not have people around you that accept that. I don't know. Let's see. Because what's interesting is that there's two pages here in each of these corners. This is the Page of Pentacles. So you may be attracting an offer or some type of communication again, where somebody maybe wants to bring something into being with you and make it more physical from just a creative idea. You might be attracting a partner, like a love partner or a community partner, right? That's going to join you on your vision. You may share a vision and you're coming together to make it happen in this really beautiful heart-centered way with all the elements present, right? Oh no, air is missing, but air is right here. Air is here in the Eight of Swords, which is you're feeling attacked and bound in some way. So that's where the air element is. You might be feeling psychically attacked in your mind, attacked in your thoughts, made to second guess yourself, made to be not sure what's really going on, right? That's where some of the vulnerability lies. Because at times like this, attacks can feel pretty effective, and you're having a challenge keeping your hope up. Even though a wiser, more discerning part of you knows that this is all true in your physical body and in your own mind, you might be feeling fearful because of these attacks and having a hard time keeping your hope up. You might be wondering, well, shit, like when I realized that picture was gone, no shit, I had to go through like, is someone going to come in here and kill me in the night? Like, it's those kinds of thoughts. Like, as a woman living alone, I don't have a dog. I thought about getting a dog because of that. Like, what am I supposed to do? Because I didn't even hear anybody come in. And if it was, some ghost or magical working, that's fucking scary too, right? So when I woke up and realized it was gone and I knew for a fact that I had put it there, I really had to start running through the scenarios in my mind. Like, who came in here when I was sleeping? Do you know how vulnerable that made me feel? Very vulnerable, very scared. I took steps to protect myself, and those steps are not going away anytime soon. But that's where this is coming from. You're having trouble, even though you may know that this is true, that you're protected, that you're being spiritually guided, that you're on the right path for yourself, that you don't want to let fear get in your way. You're having trouble with it. It's a vulnerability because of these attacks. And that's what these kinds of psychic attacks will do, is get you to second guess yourself, get you to think, like, it could have easily gone a different direction for me with that missing picture. I could have started assuming I'm really losing it, I need help, but and there are days where I feel like that, like I have to really get in check, like, am I losing it or not? And I'm good at that. I've had my whole life to practice that, just about. Paranoia does not take me down. It might for someone who's new to it. I've been paranoid as fuck in my life, and I've been grounded as fuck. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. I've also lived a pretty trauma-filled life. So if someone's going to come in here and murder me, just get it over quickly. I'm done living in fear, right? So that's the kind of thinking. I know this is very dramatic, and I'm not, I do what I have to do to protect myself. But the reason I'm feeling even like I can talk about this is because of the readers who've gone before me, who've talked about it. So that's why I feel, especially after an experience like that, it's like, dude, stop worrying about sharing the fact that you had a psychotic break. It liberates you, and it helps others know that it's okay to talk about it, right? So there's that. Eight of Swords energy is at the very heart of things. So you are feeling attacked, and you probably are being attacked to some degree. And it doesn't have to be like a magical or a psychic or a remote viewing attack. It can be from someone who's abusive, someone who's coercively controlling, someone who punishes you whenever you try to break out of their dynamic or out of the relationship dynamic. Look up coercive control. It's a form of abuse that's been around forever, but people often don't recognize it when it's happening to them, because it can take place gradually over a long period of time, where you get conditioned to believe that this person is in control of your life when they're not, right? They can get a lot of power, though, that you, without realizing it, slowly give up, because it's a powerful form of manipulation. So it can be something like that. It doesn't have to be like this sort of clandestine spy level type stuff. It could just be that you're have an abuser in your life that gaslights you and uses coercive control to manipulate you. Your strength, though, this is what's also so beautiful here, because your vulnerability is having some challenges keeping your hope up with this Star card. Your strength is that you've healed and you're healing. So you can trust your perceptions here. You're not off the rails. You're not a crazy hormonal batshit woman, right? That people often will turn that kind of shit towards women who are outspoken or powerful or whatever. Okay, there's that winded feeling again of feeling really panicky. So it's not comfortable for me to be doing this reading all of a sudden. So, you might be going through periods like that of like certainty. Oh, I see clearly, I am okay. Back into like, no, now I'm scared again, right? So there's some energy like that here. But all these cards are minors compared to the Star card and the Temperance card. Tarot does not lie. If you're here, you likely believe that. You are protected. You are protected. I really feel like I need to emphasize this. You are safe and protected. These attacks, an Eight of Swords attack is nothing compared to the Star and the Temperance card. It can't even, it's not even in the same league. Okay, so you are protected. And in fact, you're quite powerful, is what I'm seeing here. Your shadow side is trying to nudge you about, like either you should just get back to basics and not listen to this intuitive guidance and just keep your feet on the ground and don't think crazy. It could also be that your shadow's nudging you that someone's working against you. This Knight of Pentacles, this slow-moving, earth-based knight who's fucking with your mind. It could be something like that, and your shadow's alerted about it and upset. But it could also be that your shadow's trying to tell you that this is all crazy and it's all delusion, and you should get with the program and take your meds or whatever you need to get your mind out of the paranoia in some way, right? What you sense though, and what's in your conscious mind, is that you feel like someone powerful is working against you, like this Hierophant. It could also be that you know that you are a Hierophant. This is in the known world, and it's a Hierophant. In a kind of dark context like this, it might be that you feel worried that somebody with a lot of power, I could think of that Micah, is it Micah Miller? I can't think of her last name. I know her first name is Micah, but there's a case going on right now in true crime of a pastor who has been abusing women for most of his adult life, and young girls, not just women, but teenage girls, raping and manipulating them. And he just kept getting a pass and getting a pass and getting a pass and getting a pass because he was a minister in a very conservative area where people don't necessarily, they're conditioned not to listen to women, but to listen to the pastor, for example. My sense is that in the known part of you, like you're wondering about this. You're wondering about this person and whether they're really the person of God that they claim to be, or really this upstanding leader, right? There might be something in your mind that's saying this person's operating from an illusion, because where the energy is headed is the moon card. So things are not what they seem, and you're very aware of that. You're like, this is not, I can't tell. I'm in a hall of mirrors. What's going on? What's real? I'm alarmed by this lunar confusion, right? So let's get some advice for you. What's important for you to know about this lunar energy and this Hierophant and this Eight of Swords? What's some advice for you about how to deal? God, there it is again, the moon and the Hierophant. That's weird. The moon and the Hierophant. So we're on to something here, and I'm hoping this is helpful to you. What's some advice for you? Your strength is that you're protected. So that's first and foremost. You need to know that and try to remember that you are safe and that you're protected, even though these attacks are occurring. This person may have a lot of power in your life. Even so, you're safe and protected in some way here. What's advice for you to deal about this? You need to guard your energy. That's at the bottom of the deck. The Four of Pentacles is a card of guarding your resources. It can be a caution that you don't become miserly or a penny pincher or not sharing of wealth or something like that, but that's not what I'm picking up here. What I'm picking up here is that shielding your energy is going to is some advice. What else should you do here? Lean on the loves in your life with this Two of Cups. This is a repeat of the Six of Cups here. Not a repeat, but an echo. Know that there's love in your life. Be willing to face the facts about this Hierophant and grieve. It's going to come with some sorrow. This reading might be like a confirmation for you that the person that you're wondering about, you really should be careful around and shouldn't be so trusting. This is confirmation of that, and it might come with some sorrow. It might be somebody that you love that you're now realizing is betraying you in some way. It's going to come with sorrow, and it's okay to feel the sorrow because you still have love in your life with this Two of Cups here. It could also mean, well, no, because I asked for advice, not clarification. So this is advice for you. Allow yourself to feel the sadness. Don't get complacent though, but lean on your loved ones that you do trust. I don't know about this King. It might be just know that you are in an abundant position with King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles advice is to live as if it's already a reality. Live as if you already are the King of Pentacles, because you are in an abundant position of newness and joy and protected, spiritually guided energy. You are the King of Pentacles. So know that you are, and the advice of this card is just that. Live as if it's already a reality, because it is already a reality. That's what co-creating is. It's manifestation. Know that you are this king. Know that you have everything you need to get through this experience, even when things seem confusing. What is the quality of this lunar energy? What is important to understand about the lunar energy? That's where the energy is headed. Because I'm hoping for you that there's clarity. I mean, it might, the thing I love about this card is that it shows this coyote gazing into a trash can. And to me, it's an echo of the way that people used to gaze into a well or a rain barrel to do scrying or to see their fortune, or in a fountain, right? That's a very long folk tradition of magic. And this coyote is looking into this trash can and recognizing the trickster energy. It's not a well, it's not a rain barrel, it's a trash can. It's not a dog, it's a coyote, right? It's not just a loyal, naive dog that loves you no matter what. It's a coyote that can emulate trickster energy, that can be the trickster. This is your power, right? This is your power. That's the power of the lunar cycle for you, or the lunar energy. And we're in this full moon in Capricorn season. So that's kind of devilish energy, right? As well, although the devil card is not here, which to me is a good sign. But it could be something like this Hierophant, again, could be a devilish Hierophant, like the guy that killed Micah Miller, or allegedly, right? Or Elmer Gantry. That's a book I read in high school about a charlatan minister who really is kind of, you know, spiritually speaking, in league with the devil. So that's kind of what I'm picking up on, is maybe some revelatory information about this Hierophant coming to light here, right? With this lunar energy. You're the coyote here, using your discernment and your own trickster energy to see the truth. That's what I think is coming through, but let me get some more cards. What about this lunar energy? It's going to be important for you to know about the lunar energy. What's the quality of the lunar energy? Oh, the Empress. Fucking A. Empress. Yes. The Magician. The Seven of Pentacles. And the Chariot. So what's important for you to know about the lunar energy is that this person has been working against you in ways that are very manipulative and tricky and trickster. They're maybe showing up like a friend, but really they're undermining you, going around to all the people in your life and saying, I'm really worried about her. I think she's might be losing it, right? So like trying to make people doubt you, right? It could be something like that. But what's happening is actually that you are succeeding and you're driving right through and out of this. It could be literally like you're going to get in your car and go and move and get out physically of the situation. Get Out just came through the movie. That probably has meaning for you, possibly. It's an amazing movie. I loved it. It was fucking scary as fuck, I'll tell you what. The Chariot, though, this is what's important for you to understand, that you are going to move safely through this lunar energy. The person who's working against you, it's not working. The Seven of Cups came in the reverse, and to me, the reversal is meaningful here. I don't always acknowledge reversals, but this one is very coming through very loudly. This work that this powerful Hierophant magician is doing is not working. It's not working. Just know that. It's not working because you are succeeding. You're drawing in these new collaborative relationships that are for you, that are for your good, that are cooperative, that are respectful, that are not manipulative, right? It's new and it's young, which is why you might be having trouble knowing for sure that it's really going to be real. When somebody like this seems really established, like that pastor, I think it's in South Carolina. I can't remember his name offhand, but he must have seemed like omnipotent to the women in his life, because no matter what he did, nobody fucking intervened and women died because of him. So there's that, right? It's not the case here, though. You are succeeding, but it's easy to get in your mind like there's just no defeating this asshole, right? Like he has more power than me, or he had, you know, whatever. But that's not the case. That is not the case. You are succeeding. You have all this powerful energy on your side, plus your community. This person has their own, what's something to understand about the nature of the person doing this? He's powerful and he's being manipulative, but what else? What's in his shadow? I was trying to find my B Nettles deck here. I'll just use this deck here. What's in this magician's shadow? What are his vulnerabilities? He's a power abuser, which is a vulnerability. Even if he seems all powerful right now, the fact that he's abusing power, usually that comes back to bite you in some way. But how? What are his vulnerabilities? I'm saying he because these are two masculine cards, but just again, like we always say, it doesn't have to be literal. You could be a man going through this, and this is another man or a woman working against you, right? What's the vulnerability for this person here? How can you maybe hang on to that and know that they're not as all powerful as they think they are, right? What are their vulnerabilities? The new offer coming in, it's a repeat here. They can't control what's happening in terms of other people. They might have kind of you on lock to some degree. That's why it feels overwhelming and that you feel scared at times. But they don't control what other people are doing. They may think they can, but they're not. They can't control the world. They're not God, right? So the Page of Pentacles is here again. That's a repeat. What else is this person's vulnerability? Their own devilish drives and impulses are their vulnerability. That is a vulnerability for them. They may not see that. They might be in league with some dark forces that they think have empowered them. Guess what? It's going to be their downfall. It is not, they should not be messing with you because of this level of protection, the Star and the Temperance card that you have on either side of this experience. It's not a match for the devil. In fact, if we're speaking Abrahamic religion, God allows the devil to exist, to test us, to show us what we're made of, to weed out the wheat from the chaff, right? So this devil, maybe you can get in league with the devil and have some kind of power, but just know that God allows the devil to exist as lessons for us. Many believe that Earth is a school where our souls learn lessons. That's the role of the devil and demons, are to work against you so that you understand what you're made of in some belief systems, right? This has been true for me. I have found more and more as I've gotten more and more comfortable with my own spirituality and prayer. So that's this magician's vulnerability. He tapped into the wrong power source because it's not as powerful as the source of power that you have. Boom, fucker. It's almost over. He's exhausted. Your strength here and your vulnerability, or what's making him vulnerable, is that he's really, really tired. That Seven of Pentacles can indicate no matter what workings this person is doing against you, they're starting to realize that it's not working. And they're tired. They don't have the stamina that they had before. They may seem all powerful to you, but they're not. They're worn down and fatigued. And honestly, they may want this to be over secretly. They might be already trying to figure out how to back out of something like this. I don't know. What else? Yeah, they're blocked by their own blocked heart. They are not operating from a place of healing and light and acceptance and love. If this person got hurt or felt in some way justified in doing these things to you, their own heart is blocked, and that's their vulnerability and going to be their downfall. Yeah, their anxieties and their fears are starting to get the better of them. So you may have started doing things like cord cutting or pulling away from this person somewhat, and it's now got them in their feelings and their fears, even if they still may seem powerful to you. So I'm now just going to pull some Dragon Oracle. God, my coffee got cold fast. Let's pull you some Dragon Oracles here. What dragon energy? Dragons are so powerful. They're agents of chaos, but in some ways, chaos might work to your advantage right now. But in any case, what's a Dragon Oracle to help guide you now through the next stage of this lunar energy? Remember that he's not as powerful as he thinks. He is not in league with the power that you are. You might be really prayed up, for example, and this person's doesn't have any kind of healing spiritual practice, right? They might be these powerful magician and hierophant energies, but they're not working with the level of power that you are. That just keeps coming through here. Judas went down, right, for betraying Jesus. He was in league with some powerful people, and he got his however many pieces of silver, 50 silvers, I think, something like that. So he was in a power position for a sec, right? Then he went down. So just know that. There's sorrow for you. Don't let the sorrow trip you up too much. That's another warning that just came through. Because sometimes the sorrow can make you go back into a denial, like this isn't really happening. It is happening. This person hasn't been good to you. It's coming out loud and clear. I'm sorry, but I know the feeling. Okay. So cool. It's card number 12. I want to pull another one. I don't know why I was resisting. I'm going to pull two. So the first card is the self, gathering your power. Boom, look at it. She's harnessing her inner dragon. That's available to you. I don't subscribe to the serpent and the dragon being demonic necessarily. They can be symbols of the devil, but they're also very, very wise. And if you can integrate your dragon within you, you're unstoppable, right? Because you're also someone who embraces the light. So gathering your power and understanding, looking at both sides. So it's going to be helpful to understand that this person has a blocked heart. They're operating from a fear and scarcity mindset at this point, and they're really tired. So remember something maybe like that kind of understanding can help strengthen you and possibly even help you find compassion. I'm not saying that this person necessarily deserves your compassion, but if you're this kind of an elevated spiritual being with this Three of Swords here, this was somebody that you trusted or cared about. And you may know them so well that you understand how they came into this energy, right? Like, I don't know, but let's maybe see what the book says, because there might be some nice words in the book that are good to hear as well about these energies. This deck is in lots of languages. I always have a hard time finding the English section. Okay, here we go. Card number 12. Gathering your power. Ride the wave of life and harness your chi. Build up your energy and never back down as you rise in strength and power. Come into your own and illuminate fearlessly. Now is the time to gather your power and rise to the occasion. Go. It is all about you right now. Focus on yourself and allow the force of self-worth, self-knowledge, and self-empowerment to bubble below the surface until it pours forth into your outer world. Embody the spirit of who you truly are. It's time to go your own way. Proclaim my way or the highway. Take a day, a moment, an hour for yourself. Harness your power, rest, reclaim your rights and your knowledge of who you truly are, this star, this temperance angel, right? You'll reemerge, recharged, and more self-aware and determined than ever before. The power needs to come from within. So that's great. Really, really awesome advice. And card 14, understanding, looking at both sides. There are many aspects to a situation. Observe wisely from a distance. Really analyze the facts. Take your time and truly process the gravity of the situation. What's worse, the volcano or the dragon? Can you take them both on? Will you choose your battles? Or perhaps it is rather an opportunity for a powerful alliance. Boom, focus on this alliance that is coming through. I love it. Don't lose a lot of sleep over this person. Start pouring your energy towards the alliance that's coming for you, that is in alignment. It's in a young stage, but it's coming. And you know it. You've sensed it. You've had trouble keeping your hope up, but this is true. This is confirmation. Will you choose your battles? Or perhaps it is rather an opportunity for a powerful alliance. Consider all angles and all sides. Contemplate. Wisdom of the dragon. Knowledge is power, and you will find success in truly understanding a situation. Once you have this level of understanding, knowledge, and sensibility, You can stand in your power and come into your own. Knowledge is the key to 1,000,000 doors. They say knowing is half the battle. True assessment and understanding are vital to a situation. So that's why this moon card here, you're going to come into the discernment to see what's true in this situation, and this reading can be a part of that, right? Take time to reflect and assess a complex situation. Ease back and truly process all angles. Then, armed with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you have garnered, move forward and take action for success and victory. Arm yourself with a sharp mind before proceeding. So it's really great. Just telling you to rest, breathe, take it easy. You have the time and the protection to do that so that you can move forward from a place of, this theme keeps coming up, and now I'm seeing more and more why, of a jaguar. When I went to Belize, I was in a national park. I was fortunate enough to go to Belize on vacation. It was a dream. It was one of the best times I've ever had in my life, was on that trip. And it was so amazing. I could go on and on. And we were in this national park, and one of the park rangers that was giving us a tour told us a story about how when they first formed the park and were learning how to manage it and manage all the wildlife in the park, they tried to relocate a few of the panthers that are there, or jaguars, in Belize, that they felt would be more protected if they were in the park. Or I can't remember exactly how or why they were trying to move these jaguars, but what they figured out was that each time they tried to do it, they were either not using the sedation properly or something, but 2 jaguars were really harmed because they woke up and were so unaccustomed to finding themselves in a position that they freaked out and harmed themselves, right? This image keeps coming through again and again and again. And it came through for me when I realized that photograph was gone. I wanted to start freaking out. And then I was like, no. Calm down, because you don't want to freak out. You need to get a grip and get in touch with your mental faculties and start being wise as the serpent here, like these dragons. Be wise, right? So anyways, I think that'll do it. What can you hope for? What's something to hope for from this really difficult experience? It's definitely taught you, or is teaching you, and you're succeeding through it. You're safe and protected going through this, so you need to know that. The vulnerable person in the position is the person that's been working against you. It's not you. But you might be having trouble seeing that. You may feel far more vulnerable than they are. That's an illusion. That's the illusion of the lunar energy there. The Rescuer, card number 41. This is something to hope for. That's what I asked about. What's hopeful in this situation? What can you look forward to? Card 41. So there might be a rescue coming for you from this new alliance that you're making, or alliances. God as well, with the Star card and the Temperance card. I am sensing that you're really protected, like from greater forces almost. I realized that my aunt and uncle that lived down in Florida, not the uncle I just talked about, but another uncle, they're very much protectors in my life, and they are very prayed up people. They are not messing around when it comes to God. They are super, super like spiritual champions almost, and they're in my life. So they're a huge protector for me that I can lean on emotionally, which I'm so grateful for. What else? Card 41. The Rescuer. This might also be a caution though, because sometimes being a rescuer is a little bit of a codependent behavior, and I could see being warned you're not obligated to rescue this person, which might be hard because you still have love for them. Realizing that they've been not so great to you can be a hard lesson. But let's just see what she says in her interpretation of this card. Often we begin with the best of intentions when diving in to provide our assistance in the form of a rescue, no matter how small it may be. but could a solution unfold naturally if just given the time? This is that guided energy here of the Star card and the Temperance card. Those are forces way more powerful than any personal player in this circumstance. Even you is your God, your protectors, right? Focus on the lessons learned in previous challenges to help you find the solution you are seeking today. The rescuer has a calling to service and is always selfless in their actions. They are brave, dependable, and most of all, honorable, and they are able to set aside any inflated sense of self-worth that those who do not understand the calling sadly suffer from. Damn. So true. Where are you too dependent? Oh, what are you too dependent on, and how can you forge independence? So I have a sense that this person exercises control in your life in some way, and it's going to be your instincts to be moving away from that coercive control are accurate. It's going to put you in, and you're protected in doing so. So I know that this can be scary. It was very scary for me, or has been. But I have more and more trust all the time in my own power and my own abilities, and especially in my own discernment. Nobody can use fears of mental illness against me anymore because I've been through it. You know, I've lived it and been through it since a young age. So did my grandmother, so did my aunt. They were incredibly powerful women, and I'm not afraid anymore of that because I've learned what I'm made of through going through multiple dark nights of the soul, through being willing to do that kind of hard work, to really truly face myself and my own demons and my own shadow side, right? I have a sense that this person hasn't wanted to do that, and that's partly going to be their downfall if they allow it. Maybe it's not too late for them. I don't really know. They're not our concern. Our concern is you and your healing, right? It's going to benefit you, though, to deeply understand as much as you can maybe what's been driving this person, because it can also help you recognize that they're not God, that they're not almighty, that they're a person with vulnerabilities. And it kind of looks like in this reading, their vulnerabilities that until now they haven't been willing to face. Maybe that'll change. Who knows? That's not your concern, though. Your concern is to allow greater forces to unfold. You don't have to do it all. That's the other wisdom of that, is that those two powers are bigger than you. And bigger than the devil energy, bigger than the magician, bigger than his magic or his coercive control, right? That pastor probably got to the point where he thought nothing could touch him. Well, guess what? Now he's arrested. Now he's being charged with multiple crimes. He is brought down pretty much. His reputation's destroyed. So things like that can happen that are outside of anyone's control, like a greater force at work. Know that that's protecting you. All right, so I think that's everything. Thank you. I just have to say, I even have my own anxieties about sharing a reading like this, but like I said at the beginning, no one can do anything to me that I haven't already been through. I've already been through the dark nights of the soul multiple fucking times. They've made me a warrior. I went through a psychotic break. I understand psychosis. I can tell the difference. I'm not a fool. I'm not an idiot, right? Like, it's just being underestimated. Again, that can be a way that if you've been underestimated and underestimated and underestimated, it's hard not to kind of take that on. Like, maybe I'm really not made of much. Bullshit. This reading showed that being underestimated was a big mistake from this person's blind spots, right? They underestimated you. So take heart. Be with your community if you need to feel safe and protected. And I'll see you in the next reading. That also explains, I just want to add too, I almost forgot, it was not a good time for me to do any scrying. So I'm not going to do any podcast posts right now until this energy evens out in my own life. I'm not going to be doing any mirror gazes or even any ink blot scrying until I feel guided to again. Cards is a way different thing, so I'm not as worried about that. But those practices are things that I don't feel are appropriate to be doing right now for my own safety. So I will see you next time, and thank you for being here, and thank you for listening.